And here we have various JPEGs that I did of the island's residents. Yeah, once again, I've used my green screen in this shot to insert me in. So, uh, I also had to find. I was pretty curious, like, how do I make the penguin feel sad? And so I just looked up penguin bowing head, and yeah, it works.
Yeah, gets the message across.
Mm-hmm. Ah, yes, the tombstones.
Yes, I liked the attention to detail here because it draws reference. Let's say if someone saw this video and it was the first one they'd seen, they'd be like, "Oh, what happened to him as well?" You know.
Yeah, because now we can actually talk about Cyber Leader here. Because originally, I just referred to the Cyber Leader as number one, and I never actually mentioned his name like in any of the future chapters, and so I just thought, why not just put both up there on his tombstone to acknowledge that we have a confirmed name. Hmm. Also, if you look around the other tombstones, the ones with the numbers on them, those are actually what I imagine to be other fallen Cybermen. Like, because I called Cyber Leader number one, I'd like to imagine, oh, Cyberman 6 perished in the explosion, Cyberman 78 was killed by Dalek Blaster, so...
Oh yeah, that's cool. I didn't catch that one, but that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Also, one thing I wish I could have wish I could have fixed with this picture is, for some reason, when I finished it, the picture was like half the original size, and that's why it looks kind of pixelated. And which and the bootlegs I inserted in afterwards, which is why they look a bit more HD.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, we got a cluster of falcon's feathers. The last bits of him that remain. So, all right. During the fight, Fresh sustained a nasty bite from Snakestaff's cobra form. The poison that entered his system was slowly eating away at his life force. Fresh was close to death, so in order to save himself, he was forced to regenerate into a new form. Ah, yes, Fresh regenerating.
I liked how this was hinted at the end of chapter 6, but you went off, and this was due to the fact that you wanted to do a redesign for him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As well.
Well, the story behind that is because in season 7 of My Little Pony, they released the very first canon giraffe in My Little Pony in the form of Gina, and so what I decided to do was make Fresh more like he was from the show now, because I have a giraffe reference, and so I made it look different in a way, so it was in sort of my style, but I also wanted to combine this new redesign with my biped biped version of Fresh, which I've used in a number of other projects like the podcasts, etc.
I think the new design is definitely a lot cuter. Like it's like, oh god, how do I send Daleks against this now?
Yeah. I was a bit iffy about, do I use this redesign or do I just stick with the old one? And I eventually grew more to liking it, and after an unrelated copyright scare, I thought, better safe than sorry. And so I basically came up with the regeneration scene, like, because when the Doctor's in Doctor Who's close to death, he regenerates into a new form with new appearances, etc. So I just thought, just another one of Fresh's powers, I guess.
I'm guessing when I was the Cobra and injected the venom into the cactus, when you transformed back, the venom still stayed inside you
Yeah,
for a bit.
That's what I was getting at, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But when one powder regenerates, they all regenerate. Now, the reason I added this detail in when the other powders regenerate at the same time is because, if you remember, Fresh shares his design with the other 6 powders, and unfortunately they had to change as well. So I just thought, let's make it seem like they have a sort of hive mind.
So, hypothetically, if let's say Fresh was to die, would that affect the others too, or would they go on living?
Potentially, well, what's set in stone is there, so we'll have that to work with.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess we'll learn as we go.
Yeah. Since then, Fresh tried to move on from all the death and war, and was hanging out with Lefty. It had been many months since their last battle, but it wouldn't be long until their next. Ah, yes. Nothing like riding around in your favourite childhood icon.
I still stand by, you need to make a GIF of this, because it was awesome.
Yeah.
Still.
Ah, yes. Brum is part of this universe as well. For our American listeners who probably don't know who this guy is, Brum is basically a sentient little yellow car who comes to life and fights crime, because kids like that sort of thing. And his end credit theme song is probably one of the catchiest ending songs I've ever heard in a kids show at the time. And I kind of wanted to do something like this because all while you were making Chapter 6, I hadn't worked on an official video for Fresh vs. Snakestaff, and so I just wanted to make this scene as if to sort of say, I'm back, baby.
Actually, I will say though, when I was watching it, that was when I was inside thinking, I'm a little worried about your copyright in this case. That's what I started, because I was like, obviously, well, I mean, I was worried that it might get targeted, but it seems to have done alright so far.
Well, a picture might not be targeted for copyright, but a video is more likely, so I guess there's that.
Wait a minute. Is this legal?
Just stopping here pretty quickly. Having Lefty turn around the complete opposite way was the only way I could have done this scene without breaking my arm. So it's really hard recording Lefty when you need to have him moving a certain way when you're holding the camera in the other one.
Well, it came out well, I think.
Yeah.
What I have to ask here is, how did you film this? How did you get this shots of the traffic and stuff?
I literally just went out with my dad, found the straightest road we can find, and I just recorded stock footage.
Cool, because I wondered if you'd found it online or if you'd actually filmed it yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have your license yet. How are we doing this?
Easy, Lefty. You don't need a license to drive a toy. Technically, Brum's not a toy, but I had it was the only way to make that line work.
You could have said you don't need a license when the car's sentient, maybe.
Yeah.
Or
You don't need a
like
license when the car drives itself. Yeah.
It still worked though, the same way. It
Yeah.
was good.